activist and educator, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. According to the American Association of Suicidology, 12 youth per day die by suicide. Suicide is the highest cause of death for youth between the third highest, cause of death for youth between the ages of 15 and 24. Now, even if we apply the most conservative estimate that 1 in 10 of those youth is queer, that still means that one LGBTQ kid a day is dying by suicide. That means over 365 a year. Yet, all we know of, and what has pulled us here together, are 8 youth. But what about the other 350-something queer kids who've died by suicide in the last year? What do we know of their stories? What don't we know of their stories? When we look at these 8, who do we see reflected back at us? And who do we not see? You may have recently heard about the horrible attack of a trans woman in New York. She's actually been misidentified as a gay man in the media, but she used female pronouns and went by the name Lorena, the Queen. 9 attackers, ranging in age from 16 to 23, brutally tortured her and 2 acquaintances for being queer. Some New York detectives are calling it the worst hate crime they've seen in years. The grief we feel as a community and as individuals when faced with such violence is swift, tremendous, and just. When youth, the very embodiment of hope, growth, and change, are snuffing themselves and each other out because they cannot find evidence of that hope, because they cannot see themselves reflected, or perhaps because they cannot stand the reflection that they do see, our response should be grief. We are losing something, and we have lost people. I am proud of us tonight for coming together and being real and honest about our vulnerabilities, for coming together in our grief. And yet, I ask each of you, and I ask this of myself, that we not let this grief become a weapon. I ask us as a community not to let our losses be compounded by separation, by a perpetuation of hate, violence, retribution, or otherness. The attackers and the bullies could be charged with hate crimes. 3 years, 5 years more they could be given if convicted. Given 3 more years, will Lorena feel safe walking in her neighborhood? Given 5 more years, will we hear Tyler's violin again? The answer is no. Hate crimes legislation will not and does not make us safe. Prisons perpetuate violence, they do not end it. I'm sorry to say this, but hate crimes legislation will not bring back Tyler Clementi, Asher Brown, Seth Walsh, Billy Lucas, Raymond Chase, Justin Auberg, Zach Harrington, or Aisha Hassan. Hate crimes legislation will not bring back the over 30 trans women who've been murdered just this year. We can punish the most obvious perpetrators, but it will not correct a system and a world in which racism, homophobia, and transphobia are status quo. Instead, I'm asking you to do 2 things. First, I ask that you take care of yourself. Nourish yourself with good food, time alone, time with loved ones, time with your body, and fun. Take the kind of care of yourself that you would wish for your very best friend. That's it. It's simple, but it's not easy. Take care of you. Thing 2 is neither more important nor less, but I believe with every fiber of my being that if each of us do both of these things, we will see the radical shift we are asking for. I'm asking you to take responsibility for the privilege that you do have in this world, and we all have some. I know I've got a lot. And it could be white privilege, male privilege, straight privilege, socioeconomic privilege, the privilege of education, leisure, or time, whatever privilege you do have, use it to advocate for someone who is unlike you, yet who is also oppressed. Let's stop acting as if there is such a thing as a queer issue, or a women's issue, or a people with disabilities issue, or a migrant issue. They're all our issues. I'm asking that we all put ourselves in dialogue, in proximity, and in solidarity work with people who do not look like us, think like us, or believe like us. We've come out on campus this week, and we've come together tonight, and that's not the last step, it's the first one. Let us now be big brothers and big sisters and come out there. Let us now volunteer to teach in prisons and come out there. Let's volunteer at shelters and schools, at Migrants' Rights Organization, at Palestinian Liberation Actions, at Jewish film festivals, and come out there. The sooner we stop segregating ourselves from the issues that keep all of us down, the closer we come to eradicating oppression. If we want real change, if we want to end violence and bullying, we've got to know each other. We've got to work together, and we've got to connect. Please consider not just the stories you've heard today, but also the stories you did not hear. Search them out. Make room for them in our movement. And please, make movement anytime you have room. Thank you.